yeah, it's amazing for myself as well. Like, I mean, it's the achievement, the gesture of it, and the introduction into the Hall of Fame is amazing. Having it here in Ireland, you know, it's magnificent. For Northern Ireland Tourist Board to capture the Giro d'Italia strong depart here in Northern Ireland. I mean, it's a whole amazing story, you know. So this is kind of my part. It's nice.
After other tribulations, actually winning the Maglia Rosa,
Well,
you think you deserve that?
Yeah, no, it's heavy, you know. But at the same time, I mean, it's the Giro Hall of Fame means a lot, you know. And it's nice to be recognised, kind of 25 years on, 26 years on. It's nice to have a bit of that recognition for what I did during the Giro. It's nice that the Giro has kind of identified kind of Northern Ireland and Ireland as being for hosting the Grand Partenza. So I think it's part of the loop, but it's you know, I'm very proud.
And how do you think it will do for cycling? You winning getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, cycling in Ireland in general?
I think it's another, you know, there are a lot of young cyclists now on the road here and doing well, like Nicolas, Dan, Sam Bennett, and the other guy, Irvine. A lot of young guys doing well here, but maybe haven't got the profile we had because people kind of look at what we did as being extraordinary. Whereas the guys that are there today, if we hadn't done what we did, what these guys are doing is amazing. So maybe they're not getting recognition for what they're doing, maybe, you know. But they are holding Ireland on a pedestal out there in Europe, you know. So I think the kids now will benefit from it more so. And it's never any harm for young kids to see their events like the Giro, like Tour de France on their doorstep. Like kids will never have an opportunity of seeing an event like this again on our island for a long, long time. So you know, it's great that the Northern Ireland Tourist Board got it here. Now it's a matter now of kind of, I can imagine it's going to be difficult now kind of finding beds for all the kids and all the parents that want to bring their families up to see the event. Because it's isn't going to come here in the next couple of years, you know, so it's once now and maybe 10, 15, 20, 25 years, you never know, you know. So it's important that the kids, it's in the kids' minds now because they've seen the Irish guys doing well over the last few years. Now the Giro d'Italia is coming to Belfast, we've got to see it, you know. So I think it's like kids playing football, like they go and see their kind of iconic team playing. It's kind of, there's no end of good to them.
With your knowledge of the islands, what would be the challenges for the riders of today when they come here?
Keep warm.
Keep warm. But
no.
The specific geographic challenges.
It's a 3-week race. 3-week race.
Yeah.
So every day is a different challenge. Because of its terrain, because of the accidents, because of the weather, with tactics. Like every day is a different challenge. So I mean, if you kind of put Lombardy out there on the signpost, people could imagine they're in Lombard. They're actually in a race, you know. The riders themselves see the countryside, but for them, it's the road ahead of them. They gotta stay upright, you know.
But I mean, don't you think a few riders will have a surprise of maybe the wind or the weather conditions?
That'll be the main kind of obstacle here. Will be the wind, of course, yeah. But I mean, that's in itself a big obstacle, you know, because the big teams like the Saxo Banks and the Garmins, they are very good at using the wind to their own advantage. And like they'll be doing a recce here before the event, I'm sure as well. And they'll have identified maybe on the coast, maybe there's some areas there which could open up. Okay, it's going to be difficult because the wind is strong, but it's not that strong really. It's strong enough, but not long enough maybe to do a lot of damage. But nevertheless, the guys will have to be on full alert.
So you could imagine important things happening already in the early stages.
Well, first of all, having a team time trial the first day.
Yeah. So
that in itself is going to suit some, it's going to aggravate others, because if Saxo win, they're going to be happy because Garmin is going to be happy because Saxo won, and Cannondale. There's going to be different kind of people are going to be surprised. Like before going into the start, there's maybe 10 teams think they can win it. And they have their strategies planned. Okay, in pink the first day, we can hold the second day, hold the third day, back to Italy with the jersey on the back. But if they haven't got it after the time trial, they have to go and get it, you know.
Things change.
So so it is a major kind of rendezvous for all the teams.
So your Sunday part, how well do you think you can do?
Well, you know, we were just talking about earlier on there. Like for Nicolas, it's more like kind of a tour in 2 stages. In that Nicolas knows he could finish up there in the top 10 maybe, but what's the top 10? But he could maybe get the jersey here in Belfast. So looking at, rather than coming into the Tour, say 80% fit and saying I'll ride myself in, so I'm okay in the Dolomites, I'd say they'd be coming in here, say 95% fit, hoping to do something really well in the first 3 days, because in local home grounds for himself, for his home fans, for his family, for Ireland, it'd be nice, and the sponsor, of course, But it's not his ideal territory, but Saxo Bank can do a good team time trial. So they can do well in the first team time trial. It should go well for the first 2 days on the road.
Yeah, thanks. And what about your nephew Daniel?
Dan,
and he might outside bet for the overall.
Dan's an outside bet for the overall. Maybe not the win, but because Cantana is coming down the Giro, where we know in the mountains it's going to be very difficult to beat. But then he has to be there, and has to also get through the mountains in the Alps in the Tour de France aren't the same as the mountains in the Giro. We saw that with Bradley Wiggins, Like when everyone was saying that he's going to win the Giro because he won the Tour, I was one of the guys that said, no, the Giro ain't the Tour. You're gonna the climate changes and everything else doesn't suit you, So Dan is he's his first kind of major kind of tour as a leader.
He's the team leader.
Yeah, and he's got a good team around him as well. So I think that he's got a good chance of doing well overall. So he may not be too focused on the first 3 days, because he knows that the big picture is in the Alps and the Dolomites.
Yeah. Will that go against him being team leader though? Because he won't be able to attack.
Dan always rides. He's an opportunist. He's an opportunist. Even when he's not a team leader, he's there. And Dan never really rides. He officially rides for his team, but he rides for himself a lot. And we just
is that a family trait?
No, I know what you mean there. Yeah. No, it means he wouldn't ride against his team there, but he rides for his team. But he's always a protected rider. Yeah. So when you're a protected rider, you see an opportunity, you take it. Yeah. So Dan has always been a protected rider. So whereas he's never really had to ride for a team leader, because he's always been leader or co-leader or protected. So I think it'd be good for him. He also is very good at he's got broad shoulders. He's very good at taking on the pressure also. So he should do a good result, yeah. He's maturing well as well, So hopefully.
That was a great season Nicolas had as well.
Brilliant end of the season. He finished off really well. So this year now, hopefully, he's changed his whole strategy now this year with the Giro being in his program, So he has to kind of try and get the form earlier. Now he's ridden Giro before, but it's the first kind of Giro he's riding at this level, where he'll be leader in the Giro as well for his team. So it's kind of changed his whole program, because he's always been in form for end of Tour and Vuelta, whereas now it's kind of Giro is kind of 3 months earlier. So it's a test for him as well.
Martyn Irvine, he's in the World Track Cycling Championships this week. What would you say to him, because he's obviously won it once already?
Well, he won it once, he can do it again, And I mean, he's probably, unfortunately, we don't hear enough about him, I think, And he's very anonymous. We know in the cycling world what he's doing, but I think the public out there don't realise he actually had a world champion, and we've got somebody there capable of winning it again,
And how good do you think he is, Stephen?
What he's doing is brilliant. Yeah. I mean, considering the facilities we have, can you imagine if we had better facilities?
Yeah.
I was in Mallorca yesterday at my cycling camps over there, and I met Colin Lynch, preparing for the World Paralympics, Worlds in Mexico. Yes. And they're training in Mallorca, in the track in Mallorca. Whereas, that could be here,
And he's moved to Denver now to get those facilities, I guess.
Well, they're all having to move because we haven't got it here. Whereas, look at the marketing tool that could be used by having our own national squad, our own kind of squad doing well at that level,
Yes.
I think that given the resources, even though there has been more resources put into cycling over the last couple of years, I think giving a little bit more and a little bit more again, I think we're way behind other countries. But I think that in view of the number of people on bikes and competitive cycling, young cyclists, we have a very, very good success rate, I think. Whereas if there was kind of a little bit more money put into it, a little more confidence put into it, and in the infrastructure, I think we could be turning out some really, really good guys.
They're talking about the track and They are talking about the track and
We'll talk about it for how long?
It seems to be close.
Yeah, well, it's getting closer and closer, And the will is there to do it. Maybe it should have been done during the big Tiger days, But it's my thing in those days was like, rather than encouraging builders and promoters to build more and more and more, is to give them tax breaks to money could put into building tracks and facilities for the kids. But it's too late to go back in it now. But I think that a track here would do no end of good for the kids on bikes. But also, what you have here in the north is the mountain bike tracks, like the mountain bike trails you have here, mountain bike.
Ross Trevor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're absolutely they're world class, you know. Which it's good to tell everybody about them as well because my nephews come from Dublin up here to ride those tracks, you know. It's amazing. So they can be developed all over the country. We have a natural terrain which kind of lends itself to those kind of events, you know.
Yeah.
Those parks.